Hello, my name is Jonathan, and I'm a psychologist and associate professor. In this video, I'm going to give some advice about the oral exam, how it happens here in Denmark. My best advice will always be use your teacher or your guide. So listen to your teacher. In this video, I present some general good advice, but your exam is always special. So listen and use your teacher. With that said, here are some advice. You might ask the question, how will it happen? How is an oral exam taking place? Well, it all starts up with you showing up. Be there on time. Always be a bit earlier there. When you show up, then just stand in the hallway. So don't knock on the door and go inside. Wait outside. Your internal examiner, that could be your teacher or your guide, for instance, will come out and get you. So the examiner will go out, and then he or she will invite you in. In the room, which is probably just an ordinary classroom or meeting room at your college or university, you will be present as student, or if you have made or if you're going to take the exam as a group, then there will be more students. Then there'll be an internal examiner that can be your teacher from the course you're taking, and then an external examiner. He would also be there, and it's his job to see if all the rules, all the laws are followed. So he's helping you to secure that you will get an equal exam, all of you. But this is the internal examiner, and that is the one you know from your course probably. Then in some cases, you will start off with doing an oral presentation. Remember to ask your teacher in advance, do you have the chance of giving an oral presentation when you get to the oral exam? And if so, how long? And what is her expectations? Then there will be a following discussion where both the external and the internal examiner probably are participating. And then you go out. While you are going out in the hallway, then the external and internal examiner are discussing which grade you and your group should get. And then you would get invited in again, and then you'll get the grading. This is almost like this. It always happens. In a lot of cases with the oral exams in Denmark, there will be some kind of written thing you will hand in. That could be a paper, that could be a project. And then, so you have this written paper, and then you might in the oral part have an oral exam, an oral presentation, followed by a following oral discussion. Remember that examinators have already read your paper. So in the oral part, the goal is to add something new. Think about the oral presentation as some kind of part of a sequel movie, just like Harry Potter. So if the written paper was Harry Potter movie number 1, the oral presentation should be Harry Potter movie number 2. So use of course the written paper, but add new things. You should not just go in and then repeat what was the paper about. Maybe you can say what was the title and what was if you have a research question, but then hurry up, continue to the oral presentation where you're adding something new. Because if you have a good reflection here, you don't get double points in relation to your grading if you say it twice, both here and here. No, you can only get the points one time. So therefore, add something new. And what could be the new thing you could add? Well, here I suggest you use the SMEST-model. It's about society, method, ethics, solution, and theory. You can add something new by presenting a political or a social perspectives on the problem you have identified or the solution you have proposed. So sometimes when you have written a paper, you might zoom in just like on a tablet on a specific small area which you try to investigate, but maybe broaden it out in the oral presentation. But what is the political consequences of this? Method. Sometimes when you do these paper, you might have done some research, you have collected some data. When we do the paper, it's not, or the written project, it's not always we have pages enough to include all our data. So here, you might have saved some data which you now can use in the oral presentations, so it would be new as well. You could also collect new data, and for instance, if you have collected in the written paper, you use quantitative data, then use qualitative data in the oral presentation. Ethics. You can also include an ethical discussion. That could be presenting ethical discussions about your data collection, or how you understand the problem, or maybe the solution you have formulated. The solution. Sometimes you are expected to add or suggest some kind of solution to a problem, maybe in the written paper. Otherwise, you can also maybe present a solution in your oral presentation. So now you have understood the problem in the paper. Now you would suggest a solution about how to deal with this problem. Different perspectives here, and discuss pros and cons against these solutions. Also, if you have already presented a solution in your written paper, then maybe criticize it and add an alternative solution. Theory. You can also include a new theory which gives a new perspective, but do not use a lot of minutes in presenting new theories. You should use the theory to analyzing and discussing. It's analyzing and discussions we are interested in here in the oral presentations. It's not just easy presentation. Then we have the following discussion. And what is a discussion, in fact? Well, you might say there are two traditions. There are a debate tradition and an analytical discussion tradition. In a debate, here the goal is to formulate the best argument, and the best argument wins. Whereas in an analytical discussion, here you don't necessarily present one argument. No, instead you try to get a deep, complex understanding by including a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different arguments, maybe also arguments that are contradicting each other. In a debate, the students strive for finding the best argument, almost like a competition. So it's almost like we're competing who has the best argument. Whereas in the analytical discussion, it's not about winning. The student include different perspectives in their understanding. So it's very, very fine that you can include, from this perspective, I see this, from this perspective, I see this, from this angle, I would say that this is in play here. So it's not better that you really have a clear attitude and opinion about a subject. No, it's really good that you are fluid and can see a matter and a problem from different angles. The teacher or examiner. Well, the teacher examiner counter-argues to find out if the argument is good enough in the debate. Here we are really searching, is it good enough? And maybe we are trying to counter-argue, so we will find out if you can develop even better arguments for winning your case. But in an analytical discussion, the teacher adds other perspectives and arguments in order to open up a deeper understanding and gain insights into the student's understanding of complicated subject. So here, when I, as examiner, if I begin to argue against you, it's not that you should say, it's not because I want to win a debate. It's more, I want to see, can you see the problem from this angle as well? Or what about this? Or can you follow me in my line of thought? So here it's very fine that your teacher are arguing against you, and follow that perspective and say, okay, I can see that, or yeah, and if you follow that, you can also add new arguments, new perspectives, new reflections. Most of oral exams in Denmark are analytical discussions. So don't be afraid if your teacher examiner are arguing against you. It is a way of understanding something really good and complex. And here, 4 important advice. So read your paper and bring it physically. So we might ask questions as internal and external examiner to your paper. So you should really know your paper. It doesn't send a good message if you can't remember anything from your paper when we ask you questions about it. And also print it out. Take it with you physically if it's not too long, because then you can easily find it and we can point, and which is much easier than if you just look at it at a laptop. Also, an oral exam should be rehearsed orally. If I was a tennis player, I would not think about playing tennis if I was preparing myself for a big match. No, I would go out on the field and I would slam some tennis balls and feel and feel my body in this, because the body is important here in the tennis match. In an oral exam, you should of course rehearse orally. So present, discuss your paper, discuss your topic, discuss it with fellow students, discuss it with family and friends, even with pets. It doesn't matter who, but you need to rehearse your mouth in formulating arguments, formulating your reflections and presenting reflections, presenting your topic. So rehearse orally for an orally exam. Also, when you have digged into a topic, a lot of your thoughts can be very, very complex. Therefore, help internal and external examiner in understanding your reflections. Maybe use visual scaffolding. Make a PowerPoint where you can present your line of thoughts. Or maybe be creative. Make some models you can take in and put on the table, or make some posters you put on the wall so you can point out and say, this is what I mean, is here. Maybe you also have collected some data. Maybe you have some data from a questionnaire. Then add in the graphs, the data from these questionnaires, so we can see it with our fingers as well. Because if you only formulate it in your orally in your mouth, we can only understand with our ears. But if you also visualize it, we can also understand with our eyes, and then it's way more easy to understand complex messages. And then remember, your teacher, examiner, the internal, external examiner, we are your friends. We are not waking up in the morning and think about, oh, how can we really make a terrible exam day here? No, we want to have a great day as well. And we are always very curious about you and the reflections you have in relation to your topic. So we are your friends. We just want to help you and have a great time. And just to finish, as I started, the best advice I can give you is listen to your teacher, or the one who is going to examine you. In this video, I present some general good advice, but your exam is always special, so listen and use your teacher. And that was it. Thank you.